I was born on a warm day in the Central Valley when orange poppies were in bloom and covered all the fields around me. My mama gave birth to me in a tiny hospital room, and after the doctors wrapped me up in blankets, my mother held me close against her chest. She was so exhausted that the only thing she managed to say was, Gracias a Dios que ya terminó. Thank God that's over. Mi papa kissed her forehead, and after she rested for a bit, she fed me her milk.
I was born on a cold cement floor that was scattered with a little bit of hay. It was dark and my knees were wobbly as I took my first steps, knowing I needed to be with my mom. All of a sudden, I felt a human's hands on my skin, and I was thrusted into the air. I saw them hold my mother back so she couldn't come after me. As they took me away, she screamed and cried. And on the other side of the dairy farm, I could still hear her screaming for hours. I was dropped into a little stall and I looked around and didn't see anyone by my side.
As I grew up, my mama wanted me to have a happy, carefree childhood, and for the most part, I did. I liked to play outside, and I loved animals. I always begged my parents to take me to the aquarium. I liked spending time with mi familia, but mi papi worked for so long and so hard that I barely got to see him. When he did come home, he often seemed really tired and sad.
My food came from a strange bottle and it didn't feel quite right. Often when I fell asleep, I had dreams about playing in the sun with a little girl I had once seen drive by. But I was alone except for the humans that passed by my cage, and I quickly learned that humans were something to be afraid of. When they hurt me really bad, I hoped that if I cried, my mom would hear, so I cried until my throat became raw.
My mama was always there for me when I had a bad day, and she would comfort me by making my favorite drink, chocolate. But over the years, it seemed like she didn't have the energy for that anymore. My dad explained that she was getting sick because of the chemicals and the pollution from the dairy farm. She died when I was 11. My dad tried to comfort me, but it wasn't the same. The stress and violence my papa experienced at work affected how he acted around me. When he wasn't too tired, drunk, or angry to talk, he would sometimes tell me stories about the violence he saw at work. When he pulled baby cows away from their moms, they were sometimes so desperate to bond that they would suck on his finger. The mom cows were often too tired to move, so the workers would get violent with them. I didn't ask if he was violent with them too. I could tell being in this environment was painful for him, because he brought that pain home. The longer my dad worked at the farm, the less of him there was. He couldn't speak up about these issues because the dairy farm employers saw him as replaceable as their cows.
When I turned 2 years old, a human came into my stall, and this time they inserted a device into my body. I didn't understand it. It hurt me, and I felt violated and afraid. Soon after, I felt a baby growing in my stomach. I remembered how I had been taken from my mom as soon as I was born, and dreaded the day my baby would be taken from me.
When I was little, my dad would always warn me to watch out for boys, but I never knew what he meant. One day when I was walking home from school, a group of men leaned out of their car to scream something sexual about my body. I felt violated, hurt, and afraid. That experience haunted me, and with every new thing men did to me, I saw more and more how they only saw my body as something for them to use.
When my first child was born, all I wanted was to comfort her and give her my milk. But just like I was taken away from my mom, the humans took her away from me and took my milk with this strange device so they could use it for themselves. Over the course of my life, I had to give birth to 5 babies, and each time they were taken away was more painful than the next. By my 5th baby, I was so tired and sad that I was ready for it to be over.